Well, I'd like to run through printing a gCADPlus drawing by using this rather excellent piece of design work by one of our users in Holland. If I zoom extents, you'll see, and I'm in model space now, you'll see the interesting use of gCADPlus here as the designer works from a space between, or works with, space between some buildings. And he's experimenting with different layouts. You can see here the path coming through there. And if we move up to this drawing here, see the path now bends around what was a lawned area here, now has some paving mixed in with it. And as we come across here, and each iteration, if you like, of the design changes until we develop further here. And finally, we settle on a design for the space. So we now want to print this design and see if we can get a print of an A3 sheet at a scale, or at a fixed scale. So let's go to the A3 sheet and look at it now. Here is the sheet. The border consists of a title block in the bottom left, and if we select the floating viewport, which has a white border so we don't see the border, and look at it, it has a fixed scale of 100. So you have to pay attention to this and definitely click in there to make that yes. So here's the sheet, it's fixed at 1 to 100. Now if we have an A3 printer attached to it, we can print directly to the attached printer. I don't have an A3 printer here, so I'm going to print to a PDF writer. I have a number of them installed in this computer, but the one I'm going to use now is one called Bullzip. So I go File and Print. I need to change, so I don't need to change because it's already the Bullzip PDF printer. I can click Change here. If I need to change, I have another PDF writer called gCADPlus, but you'll see in this instance the Bullzip one does a much better job. So I'll leave it at Bullzip and OK that. Now I'm going to go through my selections here really thoroughly. I'm going to make sure I pick paper, not display or extents or window, and I'm going to center the print. But here you might well find the fit to paper option is ticked. You need to take that off. And in this case, can you see here, I've got a scale of 1 to 1009. So I'll just take off the 9 there. I don't want to force all colours to black. And I'll center the print. And I'll go OK, and that will print the drawing. So let's do that. Now, a little bit of time will elapse before the box pops up and asks me to give it a file name. We'll call this test PDF and it will appear on my desktop. But in the configuration for this particular PDF writer, I've said display the drawing in Acrobat Reader, which is my PDF viewer, and that should happen in a moment. And here we are in the PDF viewer. Let's go View and full screen mode, so that we can get a good look at things, and I can zoom in by using Control plus, and so on. That'll zoom us in to the view, and I think you would agree we've got a very nice rendition of the design with very fine detail, ready to go to a commercial printer. Now let me return to gCADPlus, and here we are back in gCADPlus. The reason the printing took a little longer there is that in this design, let's go to Model, to very good effect, transparency has been used, and the Bullzip PDF printer does a bit better job than the gCADPlus writer in giving us an acceptable print. So you can see here the transparency has been set to 100. That space for a lawn has been defined by a polyline, and there's a fill and transparency of 100. So this particular area is transparency of 50, the colours 24, and so on. Same over here. So you can see this designer really intelligently used transparency. There's a price to pay. Printing and creating your PDF file does take a little longer, and in some PDF writers you'll get missing bits of the file or the print, so you need to check pretty thoroughly. If you look at the paper that's been used in here, that's not an effective selection. Let's look here. A block has been defined, 400mm square block, and notice that it has a border, and the border color has been set to white, and that's how we get the nice effect that you see here. So this lovely piece of design work has now been printed to an A3 sheet at a fixed scale. If I turn line weight on, you'll notice quite a dramatic change. And if I zoom out here, can you see the thick line weights now show? If I go back to the A3 version, you may or may not like that effect. To mine, that's a little heavy, and if I go back into the model, I'd be inclined to pick this symbol here. Let's edit it now. Can you see that the individual lines and polylines within the symbol have been given a very heavy 1mm line? Now that may or may not be intentional, but in my view that just looks a little heavy, and certainly when you see it on the sheet it does. However, there are occasions when that sort of heaviness in that particular symbol and the dark green symbol may well be required. So I hope that covers printing to a fixed scale 1 to 100 on an A3 sheet. If we do have an A3 printer attached, you might well want to print this out, just as we've done there, and lay a ruler along that scale. It should, of course, measure 5 centimetres.